All right, guys. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do an exercise in reading body language, right? We're going to do this in 3 rounds. The first round, we're going to have a hypnotist and a subject. Who wants to be the hypnotist for this one? Okay, Vikram's the hypnotist. Balakapal will be the subject. Perfect. So Vikram, what you'll do with Balakapal is you're going to ask him to tell you about someone they like, right? And you want to get into a bit of conversation. Here's the key. Don't just say, think of someone you like, because then people will typically do this. And you ask them, think of someone you don't like, and they'll do this. And then you're screwed because these are not natural unconscious responses. These are stifled responses. So the key here is you want conversation. Are you with me?
Hmm.
As you're conversing, I'm going to ask you to pay attention to Balakopal's face. And there's 2 dimensions I want to check out. Number one is how much tension or relaxation appears in his face. And number two, how much energy or calmness appears in his face. Let me ask this, Vikram. How do you anticipate energy to show up in his face?
When he's thinking about something he likes, I expect there to be like more relaxed signals.
That's the
Uh,
relaxation and tension side. But for energy and calmness, how will you detect that his face has energy in it? What will you look for?
his like more like a smile appearing on his face.
So the answer is very simple, right? This is ridiculously simple. There is movement,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
All right. Now, I'm not talking about normal. Like if his aunt's talking to you, there's going to be movement because there's going to be energy to actually get the mouth and tongue working and all the rest of it. Again, not psychic influence, right?
Mhm.
We're talking about excessive movement. If he talks to you about a normal holiday and it's nice and all the rest of it, okay, that's fine. If he talks about a holiday and suddenly there's a lot of movement, that means there is energy. And we'll talk about what that means once we've got some of these signals. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So you'll start off having a conversation about Kabbalah, about someone he likes. Um, as you go on that conversation, I'll interrupt from time to time to point things out. Then we'll pause, have a debrief, we'll do the next round, and so on. Sound good?
So we start off like basic small talk and I just like guide it
No, no,
towards.
no need. This is just an exercise. So
Okay.
assume the rapport and just ask Vikram, tell me about someone you like.
Okay. Cool. So, Bala Gopal, tell me about something you like.
I like my nephew. He's just 1.5 years old, but
Like your
he's
nephew.
so full of energy and entertaining and creative.
Anna,
I
are you able
really
to see
admire.
something happening in his face?
Yeah.
What are you
Much
seeing
more
happening?
energy.
So where are you
Um,
seeing the energy?
in his eyes and
His
mouth.
eyes and his mouth, exactly. So
Mhm.
he's starting to slowly creep up. So now, would you call that tension or relaxation?
Um, tension in well, not tension,
Yeah.
but
So
like,
so let's talk about that again, right?
yeah.
So again, like with the energy, tension does not mean the physical tension required for an activity, like talking or smiling.
Hmm.
Tension means excessive tension. If he says like, I really like my cousin, right?
Yeah.
Tension,
Hmm.
tension, tension. This is excessive tension, not required for what I'm talking about. Does it make
Hmm.
sense?
Hmm.
So this is still calm. This is still relaxation because this is the minimum amount of tension required for such a energized expression. Do you get the idea?
Yeah.
So we
Hmm.
want to we want to have the baseline being ordinary movement is considered calmness and relaxation. It's when it goes into an excessive zone that becomes either tension or energy or both. You get the idea?
Hmm.
So you correctly spotted so far. He's got in his mouth and his eyes, there's more energy there, and there's a general relaxing of his features. His forehead was a bit more relaxed, his cheek were a bit more relaxed, and so on. Carry on the conversation about his nephew
Yeah.
and see what other signs come out. Ask him questions, just have a little chat. Always
Yeah.
feature around the child.
Yeah. Tell me more about your nephew.
But this fellow is only 1.5 years old, but
Hmm.
he's like a parrot. He can mimic everybody in the house.
You like a
Even
parrot?
like,
Okay, time out. Did you say that
yes,
again?
you tell.
Apologies, time out. Here you go. Lots of energy and,
Yeah.
and, and calmness and relaxation there as well, right? Now, did you notice something interesting? When he first started talking and when I interrupted, what was different about those 2 phases?
Um, at first it was more like blank and then it just started to grow and
Yes.
expand. Yeah.
So it was relatively relaxed, but there was very little energy.
Yeah.
So what does that mean, right? So here's the rule of thumb. Tension is a sign of internal conflict. There's something he doesn't like happening, and he wants to resist it in some way. In this case, we only had relaxation. Yes, there was physical tension for movement, but that was it, right? So there's no internal conflict. Energy basically means desire for change. Now, energy goes in two ways. If a good thing's happening, we want to change it to make more of it. If a bad thing's happening, we want to change it to make less of it. You get the idea? If there's low energy, that means he's perfectly content as things are. Let's just stay like this forever. You get the idea? So when he started talking, it was low energy and relaxation. What does that tell you? Well, right now there's not much emotion going on, but not much conflict either. So what do we suppose is going on there? What do you think was happening?
He was content. I
He
mean,
was thinking. Yeah, he was just thinking about it. There was nothing to change. He was just kind of getting into the mode. He wasn't in the groove yet, so to speak. He wasn't feeling it. He hadn't emotionally connected to his nephew. So he's starting to wind up by telling a little story. And then what did he do? First of all, he turned away as he's doing the winding up process, right? In other words, breaking contact with you. But once he connects to the memory, boom, he's face forward. And that's when we saw his big smile and everything starting to light up again. Do you get the idea?
no.
And again, he's now enjoying hearing about that. Hence, you've had another flash of energy going through his features. Do you see? Once you start looking for these things, they're relatively easy to spot and relatively easy to interpret. Once you've got a basic code in place, does that make sense? Over to you, Vikram. Any questions or comments about this so far?
No, I think it makes sense.
All right, let's contrast. Let's now have a contrast, right? Now we're going to talk to Balakabal about a person he dislikes, right? The more he dislikes the person, the more dramatic the changes we'll see, right? So go ahead and have that conversation, and then we'll pause. And if you see something very dramatic, feel free to pause before me and point it out to me. Make sense?
Yeah. Cool. Balakapal, tell me about somebody you don't like.
I don't like politicians.
You don't like
I don't
politicians?
like them.
So this is generic, right? So it's going to be very difficult for him to get a strong affect around that, right? So asking about someone specific, right? And maybe you can get a name if you want, and you'll see something very dramatic happen as soon as he tells you about a particular politician he particularly dislikes. And Balakabal, feel free to withhold the name if you prefer. The key is, describe him in some other ways if necessary. But anyways, carry on with the conversation, Vikram.
Sure. You don't have to tell me the name if you don't like, if you don't want to. But think about somebody specific. Could be a politician or somebody else whom you don't like. Do you have somebody in mind?
Live or dead?
Doesn't matter to me.
Okay. Yes, I have one or two politicians in mind.
Pick the person whom you like the least.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would not like to
Okay, time out. It's
name
already
this
happening. Did you see it?
person.
Did you see already what's happening?
More tension.
More tension in his jawline.
Yeah.
Also, his brow. He's repeatedly, this brow is starting to repeatedly furrow in and out, right? Is this signs that he's starting to feel internal tension? And where that internal tension comes from? Resistance. He doesn't like this guy. He doesn't want to think about this guy. And so he wants to reject him. He doesn't want this person to exist within him. And so there is a conflict inside. And that's what this is. It's like, get out. I don't like you. No, you shouldn't exist. That's what the tension is about. It's trying to repress something, right? It happens to all of us, by the way, right?
Yeah.
So go carry on, and let's see what happens with tension as we continue, and also what happens to energy. Do the levels rise or fall as we continue? Off you go.
Yeah. And to the extent that you want to talk about it openly, tell me more about this person who you don't like. You don't have to use
What you
names.
didn't like about him.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me what you don't like about this person.
Yeah, this particular person who I'm referring to doesn't walk his talk, but then he keeps on giving things and making people believe. But you can't fool all the people all the time. You can fool some people for some time, but not all the time. That's what I detest. I detest people who lack integrity. I detest people who are not.
Time out. Do you notice how his features have started becoming
faithful to the country.
Time out. Sorry, guys. Time out. So notice how Balakapal's features there's still a bit of tension there, there's a little bit of lower energy, but it seems to become a bit more flat. Not much has changed recently.
Hmm.
What do you think is going on here?
Mm, um, maybe he's not really digging deep into the
Exactly. So
thought.
what's happened is, and Balakapal, please let me know if this is accurate or not. He's started thinking about the person specifically. That's when we saw the furrow, the brow furrow, and we saw a little bit of tension coming up on the jawline, and there's a general dropping of the sort of the facial features a little bit, right? Then you ask him more about what he didn't like about the person, and he did the same avoidance behavior at first, looking away, and that's kind of thinking about something, kind of connecting to it. But then, and again, he had a little bit of a little bit of a shimmer of activity in his face. But then what happened was he started telling you generalizations about this. In other words, he stopped talking about this politician. He started talking about politicians in general. And it's a lot harder to get a clean read over generalities, unless he's really upset by them, than about a specific individual. So when that happens, if you can't get a clear read, just ask him, so are you thinking about a specific person right now, or are you just talking about politicians in general? And he goes, oh, no, in general. So come back to this one. What's he done you don't like? So make it personal, because the more
Okay.
personal it is, the more the emotion will leak out. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, tell me more specifically about what you don't like about this person.
What I don't like about this person is he comes across and tries to project an image that he's clean and he's very much pro-India and all, but his actions are just the opposite.
His actions are just the opposite?
Okay, and pause a second. Did you see when he stopped talking? That's when he gave away his feelings the most. Did you notice that?
Think of
Just as he
my,
stopped talking, he's talking normally, and suddenly stopped talking, his mouth closed, and then it flattened. It went like this.
mm,
What is that a sign of? That's tension in the lips, right? So he's basically saying, and I'm done, and then a little in the
yeah.
background of his mind to this
Mhm.
guy here, right? Do you see what's going on here in terms of what's going on, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
He's not overly expressive in terms of not a huge amount of energy. So does it sound like this person's dead or alive? What do you think, Vikram?
Alive.
Yeah, just that mostly because of the tense. That's the only thing that gave us away. Because otherwise, his mannerisms tell us that he might be dead. And why do you think I say that? Other than the present tense language. What do you think? What do you think gives us suggests that there is? I'll give you more directly. Okay, so is energy high or low in his face?
Low.
Right. What does that tell you? What does energy tell us?
The emotional
Yeah. So when
intent.
there's energy in the face, it basically is desire to take action
Mhm.
towards or to take action away from. Are you with me?
Mhm.
When energy is low, it's the opposite. It's a non-desire to take action or a no need to take action. So
Mhm.
how do we interpret this? And then Kalak, please tell us if I'm overstating the case. But what is most likely happening here is Balakapal doesn't like this politician. Clearly, there's a lot of tension, right? But he's also, in a sense, given up. There's nothing, feels no need to do anything about it. I can't do anything about it. So what's the point, right?
Mhm.
Hence, there's low energy because there's no desire to cause change. He's already accepted the situation, but there's higher tension because it's still a conflict figure in his mind. Balakapal, how close am I?
Yeah,
Right? Is this useful to you? Are you understanding how it's two simple
Yeah.
parameters tell you a lot about the person as you're talking to them? Are you with me?
Mhm. Yeah.